Up here, I have a bucket of water, and inside the water, I've got a sponge, and I have a brick. I asked my kids this morning if they could go and find me a stone, and my son Micaiah immediately, almost out of his pocket, produced this. I don't know why he had that quick access to it, but I was like, hey, can you boys help me find a stone? And immediately Micaiah was like, will this work? I was like, was that just ready to go? I don't know if he was planning on stoning me or breaking a window. I don't know. I've got questions for after service today. But here's the interesting thing, is that you can look at this bucket of water, you can look at this cup of water, and you can see that it has different effects on different things that we put inside of it. You see, when I put the sponge inside of the water, what happens is the sponge ends up absorbing all of the water that is around it. But when I take the stone or the brick that my son suspiciously had on his person and I put it in the water, the interesting thing is it doesn't absorb anything at all. I put it in the water and actually it gets wet, but it does not get absorbent. There's no water that makes its way inside of the rock. If I were to take a hammer and break the rock open right now, you would find that the inside of the rock is dry. And so what's interesting to me is that you have the same environment, but you have different responses to the environment. Does that make sense this morning? You have the same situations, you have the same circumstances, but the effects on what is inside the environment is different depending on the composition of the thing that is placed inside the environment. Can I tell you that for a lot of us, our hearts look like either a sponge or like a stone. And we can be in the same situations but have different experiences. We can be around the same people but have different outcomes. We can be in the same church and have a different attitude. Am I talking to anybody in this room this morning? And it's not necessarily the environment, it is how we respond to the environment that we put ourselves in. And I have a question for you this morning. Out of these two materials, which one better describes the state of your heart right now? Which one better describes the state of your heart right now? Now, most people would assume that the state of their heart is contingent upon the environments that they put themselves in, the environments that they're surrounded with. Well, I'm in a bad situation, Pastor, so therefore my heart has become hard. Pastor, I'm in a difficult spot right now, so my heart has become hard. Well, it makes sense that this person has a soft heart because they're in a good situation. But can I tell you something this morning? That your environment is not the thing that causes your heart to be hard, because two people can go through the same circumstance and have a different disposition. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed that sometimes somebody can go through something that would cripple someone else, but they still keep a soft heart? Have you noticed that sometimes people can go through difficult circumstances that would lay you low, and you have a hard heart and you're wondering, how are they able to keep their heart so soft in the middle of this? Have you ever experienced a situation or a relationship where somebody else was able to maintain their character, maintain their integrity, maintain their honor, maintain their love in spite of a difficult circumstance? Can I tell you something this morning? Too often we try to get a get out of jail free card by blaming our environment for the texture of our hearts. Am I talking to you this morning? Your environment, now listen to me. Some of you guys, you're in difficult circumstances, and I understand the proclivity to allow that to cause your heart to get hardened. But at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for what's going on with your heart. Are you with me this morning, church? Two people can go through the same situation and have a different posture in their spirits. And I want to talk to you about it today because I think that we have to get it right. And I think that for many of us, we're praying that God changes our situation. And I think that we need to shift our prayer and pray that God will change our hearts. God, change my heart. Can I tell you that your heart is a miracle of creation? Your heart is a miracle of creation. God created you to be able to feel deeply. Sometimes I talk to people and I ask questions in leadership. I'm like, what's your greatest weakness? And sometimes people say, I feel too much. That's not a weakness. Shut up. And by the way, if you're ever one of those people like, I'm just too nice, like that's not a weakness. You actually have to think about like what your weakness is. You can't say a good thing about yourself as a weakness. That's a cop-out. But like people say, I feel too much. Can I tell you, like you were designed to feel. You're not broken because you feel too much. Are you with me? Like there's nothing wrong with you because you have feelings. God designed you to be able to feel things. When we look at God himself, he's the creator of the universe and he has a full range of emotions. We see that God gets angry. We see that God gets upset. We see that God is compassionate. We see that God is tenderhearted. We see all of these things about God, and then God made us in his image. So God designed us to be able to feel the things that he feels. Am I talking to anybody in this room this morning? You're able to feel deeply. God created you to absorb the life that he placed you in. God said, hey, I designed a world for you and it has a wealth of experiences and I want you to get in there and experience all that there is in this world. I want you to experience the love. I want you to experience the sorrow. I want you to experience the highs and lows. I want you to experience the heartbreak. I want you to experience the joy. I want you to experience all of that. I created your heart soft because I want your heart to be absorbent. I want your heart to be able to experience all of these things. So why is it that sometimes we find ourselves in seasons of life where we don't feel things the way that we used to? Have you ever found that before? As you get older, you're like, I used to be more passionate. I used to be more excited. I used to be more tender. I used to be more caring. But then what you're saying is that I used to be like this, but I went through enough things in life that now I start to feel like this. Can anybody identify with that statement? I used to be like that. I used to love being around my friends. I used to love going out in nature. I used to love going for walks. I used to love this. I used to love that. But now I've had enough things that have happened to me in my life that I have stopped feeling the way that I used to feel, and my heart has become hard. Can I tell you, that's not the way God designed your heart to be. God did not design your heart to be this way. Here's the interesting thing about our bodies, though, is that God designed our bodies in miraculous ways. And there's a lot of correlation between how our bodies work. And I want us to just pause on our heart for a second and look at our hands. I want you to think about the way that calluses work. Has anybody ever developed calluses before? Have you ever shaken a hand of somebody that is a hard worker and you can instantly tell? Anybody? You ever shake somebody's hand and you're like, oh, you do more than I talk for a living, you know what I mean? But you ever shake a hand and when you shake somebody's hand that works a lot, you're like, oh my, this hand is a callous hand, and you know immediately this person's been through some things. This person has worked hard. This person has used their hands a lot. And so what ends up happening is their hand starts to become callous. And what ends up happening is that their hand gets harder to protect their hand because of all the work that they're doing. Some of you guys, if you go to the gym and you start like lifting weights, you start to realize like there's little calluses that form right around where you would hold a bar when you're laying on the bench. And you start to realize that my body is actually designed to create a hardness around my hand to keep my hand safe. And can I tell you that sometimes our heart works that way? Sometimes our heart works that way where we go through enough friction. Are you with me this morning? We go through enough situations where people butt up against us. We go through enough situations where things rub us the wrong way. We have enough encounters where all of a sudden people meet us and it's like meeting that person with the calluses on their hand, and people meet us and are like, oh, you have a hard heart. You've been through some things. You've had some experiences. You've had some setbacks. You've had some letdowns. Have you ever encountered somebody with a callous heart and you could tell within minutes of meeting them that this person had calloused themselves because of all the things that they had gone through? In other words, your skin doesn't just get stronger when you get callous, it also becomes less sensitive. People with calluses on their hands, they might be able to take more abuse to their hands than the average person. I have pretty tender hands, okay? But like, so I might be able to feel something whereas somebody with a callus be like, I don't even feel it. Why? Because I've become less sensitive. That happens to your heart as well. Your heart can become less sensitive. You can start to care a little bit less about things that used to trouble you before. You can be a little bit less preoccupied with helping people that you might have helped before, because the very thing that protects you from pain is also the thing that keeps you from feeling. The thing that protects you from pain is the thing that keeps you from feeling. And so at the same time, while you're recognizing that I'm getting hard and I am protecting myself from the environment that I found myself in, at the same time, you are realizing, or maybe you're not, that I've stopped feeling. So I'm feeling safer and I'm feeling more insulated, I'm feeling more protected, but at the same time, I am also not feeling the way that I used to. These things happen to our heart when pain, when betrayal, when rejection, when disappointment keeps rubbing against your life can develop, your heart rather, can develop calluses. Anybody in here ever experienced the pain of rejection before? What ends up happening? You show up in a relationship like this and you get rejected and you walk out of the relationship like this. You go into a situation and you're expecting something and you get disappointed and you come out like this. Maybe you've been in an abusive situation before and you walked into it like this and then you walk out of it like this, and we pick up these calluses on our hearts, and if we're not careful, the calluses on our heart can actually harden our heart to a point where we can't feel anything anymore. And if somebody were to crack us open, they would not find any life. They would find nothing but dryness and brokenness. I remember a story about my grandmother. This is my dad's mom. We called her Grams, and she passed away when I was really young, but she had been married to my grandfather. My grandfather was not faithful to her. My grandfather was not the best man. He was a workaholic and a partier and all of these things, and he was not a good husband. And they were married, and she had my dad and my uncle, and they stayed married all the way up until my dad, her youngest, went to college. And as soon as he went to college, within the first semester, my grandmother called him and said, "I'm getting a divorce from your dad. I stayed married because of the kids, and now you guys are out and you're on your own, and I'm going to leave him." And she left him, and she got bitter. And every year that went by, she became more and more bitter towards my grandfather. And the only people that she had any space for in her heart were her children. But here's the thing, is as life went on, as more years and more distance came, she got harder and harder in her heart towards my grandfather. And then it became to this point where it wasn't just she didn't want anything to do with him, she didn't want her kids to have anything to do with him. And so then, my parents get married and they invite both of them to the wedding, and she becomes furious that they would dare to invite her ex-husband, who's also the father, to the wedding. And as time went on, she actually ended up cutting off my parents because my parents wanted to have a relationship with my grandfather. And I remember that it actually started to affect her relationship with her grandchildren. It started to affect her relationship with me. And I remember the last time that I talked to her on the phone, I was probably about 6 or 7 years old. And I'm on the phone talking to her, and I was like, "Grams, when am I going to see you again?" And she was telling me that I probably wouldn't, because she didn't want to come and be in my parents' home. Are you with me? And my grandmother died alone. She had no relationships with anybody. She cut off her children, and when she died, she put her sister and her niece in the will and completely cut off my father and my uncle, because her hard heart cost her every meaningful relationship in her life. Because she had been in a situation that was painful. She had been in a situation that was hurtful. And I'm not advocating that that was a good place to be. Are you with me? It was a terrible situation that she was in, but she had a choice. Like, I can get out of that situation and still keep my soft heart. Or I can get out of that bad situation and I can carry the calluses that I allowed to form in that crisis. Can I tell you that your hard heart is not caused by what happened to you, but what you do with what happened to you? What are you going to do with what happened to you? What happened to you in your life has no transformative power. It doesn't have the ability to change you, but what you do with it is the thing that has the effect on whether or not you're going to maintain a hard heart or a soft heart. That's why some people go through these situations in life and they're able to maintain a soft heart, and some people go through these situations in life and they get hardened by their heart. It's not necessarily the environment, because can I give you a news flash today? I don't care how easy somebody else's life looks, they still have struggles. Every single one of us has a struggle. Every single one of us has a problem. No, Pastor Daniel, you're not talking about me. You're talking about somebody else. Are you with me? We all have this delusion that everybody else's marriage is perfect and that ours is hard. We all have a delusion that everybody else knows how to parent and we don't. We all have this presupposition that everybody else is doing phenomenally in their relationship with God, and we're the only one that struggles with doubt sometimes. Can I tell you that every single person in this room, every single person that has ever born and ever will be born is going to experience heartbreak. They're going to experience difficulty. They're going to experience struggle. They're going to experience grief, just like you. But can I tell you, at the end of the day, the state of your heart is your responsibility. It's nobody else's. It's nobody else's. It's not your parents' responsibility. It's not your spouse's responsibility. It's not your coworkers or your boss's responsibility. It's not your ex's responsibility. It is your responsibility. Am I talking to anybody in this room this morning? Proverbs chapter 4, verses 23 says, guard your heart. Somebody say, guard your heart. Look at your neighbor, say, guard that thing. Guard your heart above all else. Why? For it determines the course of your life. Can I ask you a question this morning? How many of you guys would acknowledge that this heart is going in a different direction than this heart? This heart is making different decisions than this heart. Are you with me? This heart is going to limit who comes close. This heart is going to be a little bit more liberal with who comes close. This heart is going to close a lot more doors. This heart is going to open a lot more doors. Can I tell you that you've got to be really judicious about deciding what type of heart that I want to have, because the type of heart that I have is going to influence the direction that I go in this life. The Bible says to guard your heart. It does not say to harden your heart. Am I talking to anybody in this room this morning? And what we end up doing is we end up hardening our heart. And what the Bible is saying is like, don't harden your heart, just be protective with it. I want to continue to let people close, but I'm not just letting anybody close. You know, I'm not going to be foolish. I'm going to practice discernment. I'm going to be wise, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to let anybody close. Are you with me? Like I went through a bad relationship, so love is stupid. I'm never going to trust anybody ever again. I'm never going to be nice. I'm never going to do anything good. I hate everybody. Or I learned a lot from that. And I know what to do and what not to do, but I'm not going to let it change me. And I will love again. And I will trust again. And I will open the door again. Am I talking to anybody today? See, hearts don't start out hard, they start out soft. Every heart in this room starts out hopeful. Any parents of little children in this room? How many of you have to talk to your little children and you kind of have to like prepare them for reality, right? Because your kids just think that they can have anything. Am I right? Your kids are like, it's all going to work out. I'm going to get the pony. I'm going to this. I'm going to, like, your kids they just start out hopeful. Like, we're going to go to McDonald's today. No, you're not, you know? Your kids just are hopeful. They're excited. They start off. Anybody ever see a child and they've just got this sense of wonder in their eyes? Have you ever taken your kids to a museum or maybe to the mountains or somewhere spectacular and your kids are like, whoa, this is amazing. They are nothing but soft hearts. But can I tell you that a soft heart that becomes a hurt heart can soon become a closed heart, and a closed heart can become a hard heart. The longer that you allow your heart to be closed, the more that your heart will become hardened. In fact, science tells us that our hearts require constant blood flow, and if we do not allow blood flow to go into our heart actually ends up hardening as an organ. The longer you allow your heart to be closed, the more your heart will become hardened, and every failed relationship stems from a hardened heart. Every failed relationship that you've ever had in your life stemmed from somebody having a hard heart. Maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was someone else, but it stemmed from somebody having a hard heart. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to have failed relationships in my life. And so I want to guard my heart, because I can't control the condition of somebody else's heart, but I can control the condition of mine. Are you with me today? When we have a wounded heart, something bad happens to us. When we have a wounded heart, we can often become heartless ourselves. When we have a wounded heart, we can become heartless because we find a rationalization that is informed by our pain so we can justify any behavior we are in because we are hurting. When our heart becomes hard, we begin to rationalize why it's okay for my heart to be hard. Well, it makes sense because of the environment that I came out of, because of the situation that happened to me. I didn't choose this for myself. This happened to me, and so I got hard, and so therefore I'm going to be abrasive. Therefore, I'm going to have a bad attitude. Therefore, I'm going to be combative. Therefore, I'm going to be untrusting. Therefore, I'm going to be accusatory. And I have a perfect justification because you don't understand the circumstance that I was in that formed this heart of mine. And so therefore, it is justifiable that I am distrusting. It is justifiable that I am controlling. It is justifiable that I am manipulative. It is justifiable that I am shouting. It is justifiable that I am angry because I am in pain. And at the end of the day, I am operating like a wounded animal. Have you guys ever seen a wounded animal before? Maybe you have a pet and they hurt their paw or something and you go to help them and they just start lashing out. And you're like, hey, you need to stop lashing out. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. But because they're in pain, they're doing things that are outside of their character. And it causes us to hurt other people when we are hurting. Have you ever heard the phrase before, hurt people, hurt people? When we're hurting, we hurt people around us, even if we wouldn't necessarily set out deciding to do that. I remember one time I was in a meeting with several pastors. There was several pastors in the room, and there was this one pastor in particular who was doing some things that were causing tremendous collateral damage to other people around him. He was hurting his family, he was hurting his church, he was hurting himself, he was hurting other people. And the whole time he was doing it, he had his chest puffed out and he was like, well, I have to do this because of this and that reason and this reason and that reason, all of this stuff. And one of the pastors in the room, after this long meeting of everybody trying to get him to see that he was creating damage around him, this one pastor almost prophetically was able to see through all of it. And he looked at this pastor that was hurting himself and hurting everyone around him. And he looked him in the eyes and he said, I'm sorry that you've never been affirmed. I'm sorry that nobody's ever looked at you before and told you that you matter. I'm sorry that nobody has ever encouraged you before. And he's like, I just want you to know right now that I affirm you, that I believe in you. And as soon as he said it, this pastor that was standing there with his chest bowed out with a hard heart broke down into tears. Just started sobbing uncontrollably. Why? Because he was a hurt person that was hurting other people around him. And it happens to all of us. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to your husband. It can happen to your wife. It can happen to your children. It can happen to your pastor. It can happen to anybody. Have you ever said or done something hurtful because you were hurting? Have you ever lashed out because you were in pain? Can I tell you that's not what God designed your heart for? God did not design your heart to get hard because, listen to me, if I were to ask you which one of these things you want me to throw at your head, which one are you going to pick? It's an easy choice. Like, please throw the sponge. Can I tell you, when you have a soft heart, you don't really do damage to people. Are you with me? I'd rather be in the room with somebody who has a soft heart than to be in the room with somebody that has a hard heart. A closed heart makes us relationally dangerous. Makes us relationally dangerous. Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody that had a hard heart before? Have you ever experienced what it's like to try and be tender around somebody that's hard? Have you ever experienced what it's like to be in proximity to somebody who was hurting and lashing out? And any of you that have a pet that knows if my pet's been hurt and I'm trying to help my pet and it's trying to bite me as I'm trying to help it, like there's only so much that I can do. And then sometimes it can actually cross a point where like I can't have this animal in my house anymore. Can't have it around me. I can't have it around my kids. It's become a liability. It's become dangerous and I'm trying to help it, but it won't let me help it. And if it would just let me help it, then we could restore the relationship. Some of us were in relationships with people that are doing the same thing and it's difficult because they're relationally dangerous. Can I tell you that you might know what it's like to be in an environment with somebody that is relationally dangerous, but if you're not careful, you can allow the hardness in them to become hardness in you. And if you allow it to become hardness in you, then you could be as dangerous to someone else as somebody else was to you. See, it might protect you, but it wounds everybody around you. I need to keep myself safe. Okay. But at what cost? Because anybody else that tries to get close, they're going to get bumped into by you. They're going to rub up against you. They're going to be hurt by you in the way that you were hurt by somebody else. When your heart is closed, you become critical. Have you noticed this before? You become critical, you become unsafe, and you become distrusting. Are you with me this morning? Is this okay? Or am I getting a little bit heavy? Keep going? Everybody's really, really quiet. You become critical and unsafe. Have you ever found yourself in this situation before? Have you ever talked to somebody that maybe had a failed marriage, and you talked to them about you getting married? How's that go? Let me tell you what happened with me and your dad, you know? I used to think the same thing, right? You ever experienced somebody that used to go to church and they had a bad experience? Oh, I don't go to church anymore. I don't believe in organized religion. I worship at home. We get hard. We get hard, don't we? We become critical. Everything else is broken. Everything else is wrong because I experienced some brokenness, because something bad happened to me. So therefore, everything else is as wrong as the environment that I was in. Because the reason why we become critical, the reason why we become unsafe is because at the end of the day, we're consumed with us. You're consumed with you. You've lost perspective on those that you would normally care for because you're trying to escape your hurt. You're trying to escape your pain. You're trying to escape your circumstances. And you become obsessed with you. Can I tell you that people that have a heart like this do not care about anybody else? You can be a mother, you can be a father, you can be a husband or a wife, and if your heart gets like this, you're not caring about anybody else, you're caring about you. There's no room for anything else inside of me when my heart is this texture. Can I tell you that those that have a soft heart, listen, I'm able to be a whole person and be myself, but also be able to care for other people and take other things in as well. I'm able to have compassion. I'm able to have empathy. I'm able to think outside of myself. There's room for things besides just me, and there's still room for me. Are you with me this morning? But when my heart looks like this, there's no room for anything else but me. I can't let anything else in because I can't risk letting anything else in. And I'm just thinking about myself. And we've all seen a couple go through a nasty divorce, and we've all seen circumstances where there's maybe a family that is divided. We've seen parents estranged from children. We've seen these situations in our life where people can get hardened in their heart. And when they get hardened in their heart, it's because they are focused on what happened to them. And then when we see people go through the same circumstances, the same situations, and they maintain a soft heart, their language is different. Have you noticed that? They're like, hey, I had to get out of that situation, but I actually pray for them. I had to get away from that because it wasn't good for me, but I understand that what they were doing was a result of their trauma. And so I have compassion towards them even if I needed to step back. I hope they do well. Have you ever seen somebody that went through a nasty divorce and they still talked well about the person they got divorced from? It's almost like you have to do a double take. You're like, what's going on? I thought, you know what I'm saying? Like my brain doesn't even know how to process the fact that you went through a breakup and you're not going to badmouth the person that you broke up with. Why not? Well, because I am choosing that in spite of the fact that there was hardness in them, I'm not going to let the hardness in them become hardness in me. And I might have to remove myself from a bad situation, but I'm not going to allow myself to have a bad heart posture. Some of you, you're here right now, though. Some of you, you're in this moment right now where you're struggling with hardness of heart. Maybe some of you, you're in here today and you are wrestling with bitterness towards an ex. No? Okay, we're all good? Everybody in here is like, I love my ex, you know? No problem. Some of you are sitting in here today and it could be years ago. You guys have been broken up for 13 years, 18 years, but you're still holding on to pain from what that person did to you. And there's still a hardness in you, and it's affecting your current relationship now. Because I don't trust you, not because of anything that you did, but because of what they did to me. And there's a hardness, there's an edge to me because of something that happened in my past, and I'm going to project it into this current relationship because my heart got hard from what somebody else did. Maybe you're in here today and you're shut down towards your spouse because things haven't gone the way that you hoped that they would in your relationship. Financially, we're not where I thought that we would be, and I really expected you to do better for me. Maybe you're sitting in the relationship and you're like, you know what, we don't really communicate the way that I think that we should, and so I'm going to be hardened towards you. Maybe you're sitting in here today and you're not hard towards a person, you're hard towards God. God, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed for healing and I didn't get it. God, I asked you to open that door and it never opened. God, I fully trusted that something would happen and it didn't happen. And so now, God, I don't trust you anymore. I'm not even going to bother praying because I know that when I prayed the last time, it didn't work out the way that I hoped that it would. And so my heart has become hardened. Maybe you're in here today and you're distant from family members. Maybe you're in here today and you're cynical towards church. Maybe you're sitting here today and you're like, I don't even like this guy with this stupid jacket. And his rocks and his sponges, who does he think he is? Is he Bill Nye the Science Guy? What? And you're sitting in here, you're cynical. I don't like it here. It's weird. It's a little dim in here. Where's the hymnal? But you're sitting in this room today and somebody somewhere, I believe that, let's be perfectly honest, the majority of people in this room, you know exactly what it feels like to have your heart be constructed like this. And some of you, you're sitting in the room today and your heart is like this now. And it starts to affect the way that you view everything. And when you have a hard heart, you lose perspective. When you lose perspective, you lose clarity. The things that used to become certain can become cloudy, and your judgment can become biased, and your discernment can become diminished. We've all seen somebody that had a hard heart make terrible, terrible decisions. Have you ever tried to walk somebody away from the edge of a cliff because their heart got hardened and they were about to make the stupidest decisions of their life? I remember one time when we were pastoring, there was this young couple, they were married, and the wife, for whatever reason, just started having a hard heart towards her husband. Young couple, they weren't even married that long. I'm like, you don't even have a history enough to be mad, you know what I mean? Like, y'all been together for a minute, you know? Let him do something really dumb first, you know? But I promise he'll get there, you know? But like they were just like newlyweds and all this stuff, and she, for whatever reason, just developed this hard heart. And I remember like having them in our house and counseling with them and trying to like walk her back from an edge. And I was like, if something doesn't give in her heart, she's gonna like detonate her life. And I remember that she met a random guy and knew this guy for like 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, she left her husband for this guy. In the middle of the day when her husband was at work, she comes into the house, he gets a notification on his Ring camera. She's in there with this other dude, clears her entire house out, and drives away to a completely different state with this guy that she met 2 weeks ago. Does not know him, gets to this new state with this new guy, is there for like 2-3 months, and then that relationship falls apart, and then she calls up her husband, trying to see if she can make things work. But she made the worst decision of her life, and it destroyed her marriage. It destroyed her life. It destroyed every relationship that she had because her heart got hard, and it clouded her judgment, and she got caught up in this fog of bitterness and brokenness and sadness and disappointment and despair and all of these things, and it caused her to detonate her life. And it wasn't until later that she looked back and said, oh my God, I've made a mistake. Jeremiah chapter 17 verses 9 says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? Can I tell you today, your heart is whack. Your heart's a liar. Your heart is stupid. And I know that is hard for you to accept because every single girl in this room grew up on a steady diet of Disney movies. Okay? And every single Disney movie says, follow your heart, right? There's a little girl in a meadow, and there's butterflies, and there's little fawns that come prancing around her, and they tell her to follow you. Tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la. You know? Every song that plays on, listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Like every single song, every movie, every chick flick, every book, everything is like, and her heart wanted more, you know? Everything. It tells you to follow your heart. Don't do it! Don't! Your heart is a liar. Are you with me today? Your heart is a liar. Your heart is deceitful. Your heart is wicked. That's what the Bible says. Your heart, the heart wants what the heart wants. The heart wants bad things sometimes. That's why I have to guard my heart. I don't just need to guard my heart from you. I need to guard my heart from me. Are you with me? I don't need to just guard my heart from other people hurting me. I need to guard my heart from me hurting me. I need to guard my heart from my bad thinking, from my bad desires, from my bad goals. Are you with me today? Because my heart is deceitful. It's deceitful. And if I just guard it from everybody else, listen, if I just harden my heart, I'm still inside of here. And now I'm trapped in here with me. That's not better. I thought it was bad in there. Oh boy. Do I got news for me? I have to guard my heart from external threats, but I also have to guard my heart from internal threats. Am I talking to anybody in this room this morning? You have to guard your heart because it is deceitful and it's desperately sick. Who can understand it? Let's be perfectly honest. Ladies, I want you to be honest with me. I wish you could just get to my heart. Do you understand your heart? Do you? Do you? Do you really? No, you don't. None of us do. None of us really understand our heart. None of us really understand why we're happy one day and we're sad the next. None of us really understand why we feel good around this person today and we want to murder them tomorrow. We don't get it because our heart is deceitful. Our heart will tell us that our children are the best things in the world and the greatest blessings, and we also need to abandon them at Disneyland. Our hearts are deceitful. Our hearts are deceitful. Who can understand it? Sometimes I'm really, really proud of my heart and my compassion and my tenderness, and sometimes I'm like, where did that come from? Are you with me? The other day, I was in a rental car and I was trying to return it before I missed a plane, and I went to 3 gas stations trying to find a gas station that I could actually get gas from because I'm about to be late. And I was singing, I was worshiping on my way to the first gas station. And I am yelling and smacking the visor in the car on my way to the third. It's the same heart, and I don't understand how I got from A to B. But my environment changed just a little bit, and all of a sudden, my heart that I was so confident in moments before became something else entirely. Can I tell you something? Your heart can be deceived into believing that it's justified in being hardened. Your heart can lie to itself and convince itself that no, it's perfectly acceptable for me to be the way that I am. No, you don't understand what happened to me. It makes sense. It's justified. I've been through enough things. Can I tell you that your heart was not designed to be hard, though? It was designed to be soft. God didn't create you to live callous, closed, defensive, and bitter. God created you to forgive. God created you to love. God created you to honor. God created you to serve. God created you to extend the same grace to other people that was extended to you. God created you for mercy. God created you for compassion. God created you for dignity. God created you for mercy. God created you for these things. Are you with me today? God didn't create you to be hard. God created you to be soft. God created you to stay tender. Anybody in here have ever broken a bone before? How many guys, when you break a bone, what do you do with the broken bone? What do you put around it?
Have to repair it like with a brace or
like a cast, right? Anybody ever had a cast before? You have anybody sign it? You had a lot of people sign it? Dope. What was the best thing that they signed on it? They drew a Dragon Ball character on it? You have good friends. My friends would have written like a really rude message on it, like, don't be so stupid next time, But when we break a bone, we put a cast around the broken bone. And we put the cast around the broken bone because we need that hardness to form a protective layer around the broken bone so that the broken bone can heal inside. And just like those calluses, we use the hardness to protect ourselves, and we don't want it to move because it hurts too much. We got to keep it safe. Many of us, can I tell you that it is a good thing to put a cast on when you have a broken bone, but there is a point, my friend, what bone did you break? And you put a cast on it?
Yeah, it was
Why don't you still have the cast on? So you took the cast off. What if it gets broken again? Put another cast on. But my friend over here broke his elbow, put a cast on, and then there came a day when he took the cast off. Why? Because the healing was done. I think that many of us were living our life with a cast on. I think many of us, like, we broke our bone years ago, but we're living our, how long ago did you break your arm? 7 years old? So many years ago. I don't want to guess your age, but many years ago. 2 decades ago, so 20 years ago. It'd be really weird if you came to church and you had a cast on your arm, and like, oh, you broke your arm? You're like, yeah, man, it was awful. I fell off a skateboard. And I was like, when was this? When I was 11. Why do you still have the cast on? Oh, because I don't want to break it again. But we're walking through life with our heart the same way. I got my heart broken in high school, and I'm still walking around with the cast around it. I got my heart broken from you a decade and a half ago, but I'm still walking around with the hardness around it. You know, I had somebody mistreat me. I had somebody reject me. My parents abandoned me. I was hurt as a child. I was adopted. I was this. I was all of these things, and we're walking around with that cast still around our hearts. And when people meet us, it's not because it's something that just happened recently. It's something that happened a long time ago, but we're still keeping it on. Many of us are living our life with the cast on, refusing to take it off because we're afraid of getting hurt again. My question for you is, how's that working out for you? How's that working out for you? Have you experienced no more pain? Has it completely protected you? Did it remove you from the environment or the situation or the life that you were in that caused the pain in the first place? Do you feel better now? Do you have a better range of motion with the cast on? I'm asking you sincerely, has it served you well to walk around with the cast around you, preventing you from having full range of emotion? Is it serving you well to live your life that way? How's it working out? Is it making life better or is it making life harder? Because I promise you, it's not changing the world that you live in. It's just changing how you interact with the world that you live in. You're still going to go through those disappointments. You're still going to go through those letdowns. I'm never going to love anybody ever again because I never want to get hurt again. Did you ever get hurt again? Did you? Yeah. Did that stop it? You never got hurt again because you chose that you're never going to love again and everything else was great? Your life was a fairy tale? How'd that work out? Oh, it didn't? You did get hurt again? Oh, so you missed out on all the joy that you could have experienced by hardening yourself and still hurting. How's that going for you? And do you think that that's God's plan for your life? Do you believe that God designed you to live that way? No. Joel chapter 2 verses 12 through 13 says this. This is why the Lord says, turn to me now while there's still time. Some of you, you're sitting in here today and God's like, turn to me now while there's still time. You haven't hardened your heart all the way yet. Turn to me now while there's still time. He says, give me your hearts. Turn to me while there's still time. Give me your hearts. Come to me with fasting, with weeping, with mourning. Don't tear your clothing in grief, but tear your hearts instead. In biblical times, when they were hurting, when they were upset, they would tear their clothes. And what God is saying is, he said, I need you to tear your heart because your heart is hardened and I need you to break it open. I need you to tear it open again because inside somewhere there's something tender. And I need you to allow me to tear it open. Don't tear other things. Don't tear relationships. Don't tear anything else. Tear your heart instead. Return to the Lord, for he is merciful and compassionate, slow to get angry, and filled with unfailing love. He's eager to relent and not to punish. In other words, if you've been in environments where things have caused you to feel hard, return back to God and allow yourself to be in an environment where he can nurture the softness back. I will love you. I will serve you. I will be compassionate towards you. I will help you. What God is saying is allow your hearts to be broken. Sometimes the process of breaking causes something to be stronger on the other side than it was before it got broken. I know this because I'm a millennial and I watched Rookie of the Year as a child. And I know that when your bone gets hard, when you break a bone, when you get out of that cast, you throw faster than you did before. Some of you Gen Z kids need to ask your parents what I'm talking about. Go watch a movie, get an education. What if your heart being broken is the very thing that draws you closer to the God who is near to the brokenhearted? What if your heart being broken is the very thing that draws you closer to the God that is filled with unfailing love, that is compassionate, that is kind, that is gracious? What if you having your heart broken is the thing that says, instead of me getting harder, I'm going to go into God, I'm going to say, God, I need you to fill me up with better things. Ezekiel chapter 36 verses 26 says this, God speaking says, I'll give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone, and I'll give you a heart of flesh. Can I tell you that this is what God wants for us? Because this is what God modeled for us. Jesus was put in an environment, are you with me today, where he could have allowed his heart to become hard. Jesus was put in the optimal environment for his heart to become hard towards us. Jesus was betrayed by a friend, abandoned by his disciples. He was falsely accused. He was mocked and beaten and crucified by the people that he came to save. Yet on the cross he said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. Did you hear that today? He said, Father, forgive them, in the middle of all of his letdowns, in the middle of all of his betrayals, in the middle of all the environments that he was placed in where he could have allowed himself to become hard. So what I learned from that is to have a heart, to have the heart of God is to maintain a soft heart even in the hardest circumstances. That even when I'm in a situation that is devastating, even if I'm in an environment that is painful, that Jesus, listen to me, Jesus was in the worst environment imaginable, but even in the middle of that worst environment imaginable, he absorbed the pain and poured out love instead of hardening towards people. Instead of closing himself off to humanity, he opened himself up towards humanity. He allowed all those things to come to him but not flow through him. God knows what it is to have a broken heart because it was you who broke his. And yet he maintains a soft heart towards you. He never allows the disappointment of your sin, of your rejection, of your disobedience, of your betrayal, of your apathy. He never allows that to cause his heart to grow hard towards you. The truth is, God keeps his soft heart towards you so that you can keep the soft heart towards others. And he said, the same heart that I've had towards you, I want you to keep towards other people. But God, it doesn't make sense. God, you don't understand how much they've hurt me. You don't understand how much you've hurt him. And he maintained that soft heart to you. And what he's saying is, you can keep on going down that road, but that's not the road that I chose. In spite of all the things that you've done to me, I chose the road of love and compassion and grace and mercy towards you. And so you can keep on going down the road that takes you further from me, or you can come to the road that takes you parallel with me. And you can maintain the heart that I had towards you, towards other people. 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 22 says, you were cleansed from your sins when you obeyed the truth, so now you must show sincere love to one another. Love each other deeply with all of your heart. Can I tell you something today? You have to work really hard to have a hard heart that is filled with the love of God. You have to really, really try to have a hard heart when it's filled with God's love. When you know what it is to be loved by God in spite of all of your failures, it should inspire you to love others. So if you're in here today and you're struggling with a hard heart, I want to give you 4 steps. If you're in here today and you're like, Pastor, this is me. I've been in tough situations. I've been betrayed. I've been neglected. I've been abandoned. I've been rejected. I've had these things happening. My heart has become hard. How do I get back to this place? I want to give you 4 steps. The first one is to acknowledge the hurt. Hey, this happened to me and it was not okay. This happened to me and it was hurtful. I was hurt. I don't want to minimize it. Stop pretending like it didn't happen. For many of you, the reason why your heart is hard is because you're gaslighting yourself that what you went through wasn't that bad. It's awful. Sometimes I'm pastoring people, and sometimes I'm sitting with people, and they'll tell me something that happened to them that is completely reprehensible. And I will look at them and I'll say, I'm so sorry. And they'll say, it's fine. No, it's not. It's not fine. It's terrible that happened. Acknowledge that was not okay. That should never have happened. But once you acknowledge the hurt, don't hang on to the hurt. Say it happened. It was awful. It was terrible. Should not have happened. I acknowledge it. I recognize it. I process through it. I grieve it. But then ultimately I need to surrender it.
because I don't want to hang on to it any longer. Because if I hang on to it longer, it's going to cause my heart to become hardened. So I want to surrender it to God. The Bible says, cast your cares, cast your burdens, cast your anxieties on him because he cares for you. The third thing you do is you reject the lie that hardness protects you. Reject the lie. Can I tell you something this morning? If you've been buying into this lie that if I just get a hard heart, then I'll be okay, you need to reject that outright. It will not protect you. It will cut you off from the full range of human experience. It will cut you off from good things in your life. And it will not protect you from the bad. It'll just keep the bad in and it will keep the good out. You need to reject the lie that hardness protects you. And the final thing you do is you need to forgive even if you don't feel it. Can I tell you that forgiveness sometimes is you speaking prophetically to your heart that wants to be hard, you're not going to get hard. And I might need to chip away at this for a little bit, but I'm not going to allow it to corrupt me. I'm not going to allow it to make me stop caring. I'm not going to allow it to make me stop loving, to make me stop honoring. Because life is going to give you many opportunities to harden your heart, but Christ gave you the opportunity to soften it, and you don't have to be callous once you've seen the cross. So this morning, church, I want to give you an opportunity to lay down whatever it is in your life that's caused you to have a hard heart and to pick up that softness again. I would love it if everybody in this room, if you could just close your eyes with me today, if we could come before God in a heart of worship and a heart of prayer.